Hi, everybody. Hi, Annabelle. Hi, Rakes. Just a pop up live here. I know everybody and their brothers already discussed the affidavit, but I thought it would be fun to do it with my peeps. Plus, I'd miss it. I miss you guys if I wasn't on every Thursday. So, who's still here? Annabelle? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay. Hi, Bob. Always good to see you on. Hey, Kirst. Okay. All right. So first, I'm just going to go through the news article. I know everybody's always excited to see Bob. One day I'll get him up on panel with me. One day, Bob. Be prepared. Okay. I'm just going to go over the news article here first, and then we'll go over the affidavit. Then I have a couple other things that I thought were interesting. One is about a study on the demographics of school shooters. And then there's, remember that girl that at a Mavericks game that disappeared from the stadium and was trafficked? Something happened to that in that case today. Get up there, Bob. I know, Bob. Do you want to come up? I'll give you the link. Roy's interested in what Bob has to say. Okay. Matthew Guerra, Savanah, Soto, allegedly killed over drug deal gone wrong. Court records show Guerra met with the alleged shooter to sell marijuana. Yeah, this is too bad. You're okay. First of all, I mean, they're on their way to the hospital to induce labor because she's a week overdue. And you have to stop by some guy's house to sell some pot? That doesn't even make sense to me. Does it to anybody else? I mean, doesn't he have more important things to worry about right then than a drug deal? I don't know. Okay. Court records released Thursday morning are revealing more into why the 19-year-old man arrested Wednesday allegedly shot and killed Savanah Soto, 18, and Matthew Guerra, 22. Christopher Preciado, 19, was arrested and charged with capital murder of multiple people Wednesday. His father, Ramon, 53, was also arrested and charged with abuse of a corpse for allegedly helping his son abandon the bodies at the medical center apartments where the couple was found. Yeah, I don't think my dad would have been up for that, to tell you the truth. Arrest affidavits for the father and son reveal that Christopher might have killed Guerra and Soto, who was pregnant, over a drug deal gone south. Here's what we know. On January 3rd, detectives used the victim's cell phones to determine that the couple had pinged at a residence at Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive around 11:50 p.m. on December 21st. They're going to the hospital at midnight? Does that seem right? This was the night the couple disappeared. Detectives later discovered that a Chevrolet Silverado, hi Melissa, similar to the one seen in the security camera footage with Guerra's Kia Optima, were at a residence in, I guess that's all we know of that, because I Lost the rest of it. Oh well. Anyway, they pinged the cell phones and found him. And when they got there, they said the dad just opened the door and wasn't surprised at all to see him. The vehicle was parked out front. They didn't try to hide it. Apparently, they knew somehow they'd find him. That wasn't very well thought out, as far as I can see. Spur of the moment deal. Okay, so here's the arrest affidavit from Bexar County. The undersigned affiant, Detective Jeremy Goodwin, being a peace officer under the laws of the state of Texas and being duly sworn an oath, makes the following statements and accusations. A victim in this case has been identified as Savanah Nicole Soto, date of birth August 22nd, 2005, hereinafter referred to as Victim 1. This is such a senseless thing. I can't believe we're reading this. I can't believe this. Such a waste of life. A victim in this case has been identified as Matthew Gabriel Guerra, date of birth October 26, 2001, hereinafter referred to as Victim 2. An actor in this case has been identified as Christopher Ray Preciado, date of birth September 2004, hereinafter referred to as the defendant. Said defendant is further identified in SAPD computer files under, and then it gives his name, his number. It is the belief of your affiant that the offense of capital murder, multiple persons, was committed on or about the 21st day of December in Bexar County, Texas. Your affiant has probable cause for said belief by reason of the following facts. Okay, here we're going to go to the narrative. On December 23rd, 2023, Leon Valley Police received a call for a missing persons report. Family of the missing person stated that she was supposed to be induced for her pregnancy and did not show up for the appointment. I'm kind of curious if they were headed out to... Hi, Damaris! Welcome. I'm kind of curious why they're headed to the hospital to be induced at midnight. Or did I read that wrong? No, I read that right. Okay. Supposed to be induced for her pregnancy and did not show up for the appointment. The family advised they had not been able to get a hold of the female and stated she was not answering her phone. A check of the hospitals was conducted by the family, and it was found that the female was not at any of the hospitals. It was found that the female lived with her boyfriend. However, the family of the boyfriend advised they were not able to get in touch with him as well. The female was entered as a missing person by Leon Bailey. Further investigation found that the female and her boyfriend were not responding to any phone calls, and their whereabouts were unknown. Media broadcast on the news the story of the missing female and her boyfriend. In the media, the boyfriend's car description was broadcast in the media and was said to be a 2013 gray Kia Optima. On December 26th, 2023, a resident of 5903 Danny K. Drive. These are all actors' drives. I wonder what kind of subdivision this is. Messaged the family of the female and advised them that they believed the vehicle was parked at 5903 Danny K. Drive. The family contacted Leon Valley and drove to the location. Well, the family did. Upon Leon Valley Police arrival to the location, Leon Valley Police observed the vehicle. Inside of the vehicle was a deceased pregnant female in the front seat and a deceased male in the back of the vehicle. But I sure wouldn't want to come upon that. That had to be traumatic. Antonio police were contacted and your affiant made the location. Upon arrival to the location, your affiant observed the vehicle. The vehicle was a 2013 Kia Optima with a Texas license plate. Your affiant checked the VIN number, and the VIN number was the same. Hey, Whitewater baby. was the same VIN number that was broadcast on the news for the missing couple. A check of the information through NCIC showed the vehicle belonged to the boyfriend of the female. Your affiant observed the front right passenger side of the vehicle. Your affiant observed a deceased pregnant female inside of the front right passenger seat. Due to your affiant knowledge of the female on the previous murder case, your affiant recognized the female to be that of the missing female. The female appeared to have trauma to her head. Your affiant then observed the back seat of the vehicle. You can see how this is written so much more succinct than the one for Brian Koberger. That one was all over the place and had so many mistakes. Hi, Misha. That's okay. We're not doing anything pressing. We're just reading through the affidavit at the moment. Okay, your affiant observed a deceased male in the back seat of the vehicle. The deceased male resembled the boyfriend to the female. The male had an apparent gunshot wound to his head. It appeared the male had been dragged into the vehicle. Okay, we didn't hear that before. Your affiant did not observe any weapon near the male. A search warrant was requested so entry into the vehicle could be conducted. I didn't hear that he was dragged. Well, that makes sense because they weren't shot in the car, right? Or maybe she was. Maybe she was shot in the car. And he was shot in the house and then dragged to the vehicle. No, I did not, White Widow baby. No. I know Emma from Crime Stories Obsessed had a text with a neighbor that said what great guys, what a great guy he was, what a great neighbor, and how he had lived next to him for a long time, except that he called him Raymond and spelled it Raymond. Maybe it was voice to text, I don't know. Yeah, I know Scam Zone. Okay, wait, Widow baby. I can't play it because I don't know how to do that yet. So I need somebody up here that knows what they're doing. Yeah, driver was put in the back seat. I wonder if he was... Okay, we'll wait and see what they say. While waiting for the search warrant, your affiant spoke to the families of the female and male. It was found that the boyfriend to the female sold narcotics and would use his phone through cellular communication as well as social media to sell narcotics. Oh, so they knew that right from the start that it was drug related. I managed to track down her Facebook, his Facebook, her Instagram or TikTok. His Facebook was wiped. I saw his mom and dad's, but well, I'll figure it out, White Widow baby, someday. Okay. I got my microphone hooked up to my laptop. Now, if I could just get my laptop to communicate with my Wi-Fi, I'd be all set. It was also that the boyfriend would post money and narcotics on Instagram. Okay, I did show some pictures in a community post of him posing with a whole wad of money and some guns, too. I heard robbery was the motive. My cat's annoying me. Thank you, White Widow baby. I did. I got a new microphone and I found my old headset. I got a fancy new light and a table. I'm all set. I just need Wi-Fi. Just watched Mike King. Everything he could find, they were killed in the house. Yeah, I saw that he said they fought over the gun, but yeah, that didn't happen. So no, there's no robbery as of yet. No. I wonder what. Okay, let's finish. Let's go through this. Let's see. So the families were both there at the car. Now that had to be hard, I would think. They might add more Scam Zone because they were only charged. Christopher was only charged with one murder charge, I believe, and originally only had $1 million bail. And then his dad was only what do I want to say, Bob? Hiding a body. I can't think of the word right now. And he had $100,000, but then they raised his to $600,000. So they did add some charges to both of them. Yeah, but they said that. Yeah, abuse of course. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they will add more charges as they see fit. Thank you, guys. Yes. No Scam Zone. But they said no more arrests. So I guess they figured these two are it. I know some people are saying there was a third person. I don't know. I've heard, the usual rumors and conspiracy theories. But apparently it was just these two. And the way they were just kind of sitting there waiting for the cops, they must have known that it wasn't a very smart thing to do. And they were going to get caught. What was his dad thinking? I don't know. This kid did not have a record other than, assault, but we can get into that later. Okay, I'll keep reading. Yeah, wait, Widow Baby, that's why some people say that it's, there's a third person. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, okay. It was stated that people wanted to rob the boyfriend, and it was stated that the boyfriend had been shot at before. I did read that. The family provided your affiant with the phone number of the female. The family of the male provided your affiant with his phone number as well as his Instagram. Now, especially since he'd been shot at before, would you take your over 9-month pregnant girlfriend on her way to the hospital to a drug deal? Yeah, concealing. Oh, he could get accessory after the fact. Yeah, there's a lot of things they could pile on there. Because what he's charged with is only a 2-year maximum, I think. Okay. Thanks, Whitewater Baby. Does Texas consider a fetus? They're calling it multiple persons. It said that if the fetus is killed in a crime that kills the mother, it's not capital murder, but it is a separate charge. So, hi, Prismo. Yeah, that's something that's different in every state. No Scam Zone. So, yeah, multiple persons. It's a capital charge. So, in my opinion, they'll ask for the death penalty. In my opinion, he deserves it. Texas is pretty pro death penalty state. However, he's 19 years old with no previous criminal record. And, that's going to be a mitigating factor. Yeah, I see his bond was raised from $1 million to $2 million. I doubt he'll come up with that. Okay. When the search warrant arrived, yeah, my next question, the death penalty. Yeah. Capital murder is the only charge that's death penalty. What do I want to say? That the death penalty applies to. And this is a capital murder case. In my opinion, and I am for the death penalty if it's proven, and we'll have to wait and see, but this one seems pretty cut and dried, I think. If you're not going to do the death penalty in this instance, I mean, with an over 9-month-old baby, what was the reason for shooting her, even if you shot him? And it said it was a contact wound to the head. So it wasn't like they were wrestling for the gun or it went off accidentally or anything. It was a contact wound to the head. So think about that. Okay. Yeah, I know, no witnesses, but for crying out loud. From the time it started, it was just inevitable that they were going to be caught. I mean, you got phones. No, Misha, you're thinking of first-degree murder. Has to be premeditated. This is capital murder, so it's a little different elements to capital murder. Murder, committed during certain things. So with the child, or multiple murders, children, different things make it a capital murder. It could be premeditated, but he's not charged with first degree. Although I don't know if I guess I should have looked and seen if there was first degree. And what's the one state that somebody was charged with third degree? And I had never heard of that, but it said that's the only state that has third degree murder, which was odd. Well, he invited him over for drugs, but you'd have to premeditate killing her and the baby too, right? Because you knew he would bring her. Or maybe not. Maybe he didn't know that. I don't know. Yeah, he acted like he was like he didn't know what he was doing there, didn't he? He acted a little odd, but he did graduate, so you have to give him credit for that. Right, multiple murder is usually capital. Okay, so when the search warrant arrived at the location, a search of the vehicle was conducted. The search found spent shell casings in the vehicle. However, there was no weapon recovered in the vehicle. There was apparent blood transfer on the outside of the vehicle that was not consistent with the boyfriend causing harm to the female. Yes, he did seem out of touch. I agree. He almost acted like, what am I doing here? So I can't imagine that it was just pot for his personal use. Can you? I mean, is that worth killing someone over? I guess we'll find that out later, but was he also a drug dealer? I mean, these are young kids, so he's 19. For all we know, he has a juvenile record that was sealed. I don't know, it just seems odd when... Oh, that's a good point, White Widow Baby. I mean, yeah, when you have pictures of yourself with thousands of dollars all over social media, yeah, people would think. Okay. Continuing on. They kind of let us think. They didn't tell us it was drugs at the beginning, did they? They kind of let us guess that maybe it was a murder-suicide, I know. Okay, both the female and male had gunshot wounds to the head, and the male also had apparent drag marks on his back. It was believed that the female and male were killed at a different location, and the vehicle was driven to the recovered location. I thought his pants were down and stuff. I wonder if when they dragged him, his pants got pulled down. I could see that. Yeah. Apparently, I saw that. I hate those grills. They're gross, in my opinion. During further investigation, your affiant found video surveillance video at 5903 Danny K. The video surveillance found that on December 21st, 2023, around 23:59 hours. See, it's midnight. Why are they going to an appointment at the hospital to induce at midnight? I still don't get that. I believe it was money owed, and they had packages both. Yeah, I'm sure more will come out. Although they've been pretty forthcoming with things more than other cases we filed lately with information. Okay, the Silverado, around 23:59 hours, which is 1 minute before midnight, a Chevrolet Silverado gray driving with its lights off from the vehicle recovered location. The Silverado pulled in the middle of the back parking lot and parked the vehicle. The victim's vehicle could be seen approaching the Chevrolet Silverado. The victim's vehicle parked next to the Silverado. A heavy-set male exited the Silverado, and the driver's side door of the victim's vehicle opened. Can you imagine being in that car driving two dead bodies somewhere? Oh my goodness. No, Prismo, he said no more arrests. They were not anticipating any more arrests. They thought this was it. That's what they said during the perp walk thing. Okay, where was I? The heavyset male approached the driver of the victim's vehicle and appeared to speak to the driver. The heavyset male then got a towel from his vehicle and appeared to wipe down the outside of the victim's vehicle door where he had touched the vehicle. The driver of the victim's vehicle exited the vehicle for a brief moment and sat back in the driver's seat. The driver did not match the description of the female victim or the male victim. The Hispanic male got back into his vehicle. The victim's vehicle drove behind the building where the vehicle was found on December 26, 2023. The Silverado followed the victim's vehicle. Oh, no, that's okay. That's all right. We're just discussing things. You don't have to apologize for anything here. Approximately 3 minutes later, the Silverado was observed leaving from behind the building. So people were saying he was tortured and his pants were down. I know that came out at the beginning. It sounds more like the torture was the drag marks. And maybe when they drug him, his pants got pulled down. What do you think? I think that's likely. The victim's vehicle did not leave the location. It's believed that the victims were already deceased in the vehicle at the time of the video observed. It is believed the unknown driver and heavyset male observed parked the victim's vehicle at the location in an effort to hide the vehicle. I mean, didn't hide it very well. On January 2nd, 2024, your affiant provided one of the victim's cell phones to Detective Knox at the Technical Investigations Unit. On January 3rd, 2024, your affiant received the phone download from Detective Knox. Your affiant found that the victim had recently searched the street of Charlie Chan Drive. Okay, so it sounds like it wasn't a regular stop, right? If he had to GPS it? Yeah, I think so too, Annabelle. Okay, if he had to search for this house, then I would think this was just a one-time purchase. Or an occasional, not a regular customer. Yeah, I don't know. Well, was it really a cousin, though? I'm not saying questioning you, White Widow baby. I'm just saying that, all those people came out in the Idaho 4 case and claimed they were in the house and people's sisters and brothers and whatever. So I just thought if it was going to be premeditated, no gloves, but after, yes. Yeah, if it was premeditated, they certainly would have thought about what they were going to do afterwards. I don't think you'd shoot someone in your house if you premeditated it, would you? Maybe out in the garage. I don't know. I wouldn't do it anywhere on that it could be. Hi, Bobby J. Oh, okay. All right. I'll have to look more. I saw one video that was him, Matthew, at a house with some other people it looked like an apartment, could have been a house, when he had just met Savanah and he was talking about calling her in some kind of gang slang. That's that Billy, Savanah Billy or whatever on TikTok. Okay. All right, thanks. Do you have my, well, you can, can get my email off of my description. Not with them meeting up to, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it was very, I don't know. Would you help a friend cover up a murder? No, I would not. I might be afraid that they were going to do something to me, I guess. If they had a gun and they killed someone and they wanted me to help them, yeah, I might help them in the moment, but then I would certainly go to the cops. I mean, if you're afraid they're going to kill you, you might help them. But I don't think his dad was afraid of this guy, do you? Did anyone hear? Okay, yeah. Hi, Sweet D. Yes, we did hear that. That's what he said, but the Matthew's wound was a contact gunshot wound, so the struggling over the gun did not happen. Yeah, he said it accidentally went off or something, and then both times, that wasn't true. No, me either. They flaunted their lives on social media. Exactly. It was his son. His dad may have told him he needed to turn himself in. Yeah, they didn't seem very surprised, and they did leave the vehicle parked right out front. So I think they knew it was inevitable after they did it. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, he did. I mean, the son being caught was going to happen no matter what. Oh. Yeah, that's too bad. And the son ruined his life, his dad's life too. Yeah, Bobby, that's why I posted that he was, I thought about that. And I did have a couple people say I was victim shaming. But actually, what that boiled down to was one of my pet things is women that don't value themselves more. All these women whose children, their boyfriends or partners, husbands kill their babies and beat them, and the kids don't have any choice. They suffer for their mother's poor choices. This kind of seemed like that situation. Here she got pregnant with a guy that was a drug dealer and had been shot at. So just because you're pregnant, you don't have to stay with them. I mean, he'd assaulted her shortly before this. So are you going to stay in that situation where a guy beats on you and then bring a baby into that situation? I know. It is sad. Too bad she didn't leave him. Okay, where am I? Driver. On January 2nd, 2024, your affiant provided one of the victim's cell phone. Oh, we already did that. Okay. Your affiant was aware that Charlie Chan Drive was a couple blocks away from the vehicle recovery location. Your affiant was able to discover that the victim's vehicle pinged near Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive around 2350 hours on the night they went missing. That's a pretty tight timeline, isn't it? 2350, their phone pinged, and 2359. 9 minutes later, they're abandoning the vehicles. Yes. She was always taking pictures of him with the guns, though, and the money, so I don't know. I just wish she would have made better choices. Yes, you're correct. Yes, and especially in Hispanic, because I saw a girl say that that's their culture. She said she was from Mexico, and their culture is that what the man says goes. He can do anything he wants. I don't know. I don't know her background situation. I'm sure more will come out about that, too. Okay, 2350 hours on the night they went missing. The vehicle did not start moving again until around 2354. So that's 4 minutes. The vehicle then traveled to 5903 Danny K Drive, where the victims and their vehicle were discovered on December 26, 2023. Your affiant conducted computer research and was able to locate a vehicle that looked identical to the suspect vehicle seen on camera with the victim vehicle. Your affiant did research on the owner of the vehicle and found the owner of the vehicle matched the description of the male that exited the vehicle on camera. Homicide detectives went to the vehicle location listed above and found the listed vehicle at the location. While at the residence on Charlie Chan, a person identified as Roman Preciado reported knowing why SAPD was at his residence. Yep, see, he did. He knew exactly why they were there. Roman Preciado informed SAPD detectives to speak with his son, identified as Christopher Preciado. Ramon and Christopher were transported to SAPD Homicide to speak with your affiant, while additional SAPD detectives searched the residence on Charlie Chan Drive under the authority of a search warrant. So they did. They knew they were done. Your affiant spoke with Roman Preciado after Ramon was read the Miranda warnings. Ramon admitted to driving his Chevrolet Silverado to 5903 Danny K. Drive, where he met Christopher. Ramon identified himself on surveillance video from 5903 Danny K. Drive as the person observed exiting the Chevrolet Silverado. Ramon reported meeting Christopher at this apartment complex, who was driving another vehicle. This vehicle is the vehicle in which Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto were found deceased. Ramon admitted to assisting Christopher at 5903 Danny K. Drive. Ramon knowingly treated the human corpse of Matthew Guerra, Savanah Soto, and the unborn child of Savanah Soto named Fabian in an offensive manner by leaving them in the abandoned vehicle. Okay, that's the dad. Your affiant then spoke with Christopher after Christopher was read the Miranda warning. Christopher reported Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto drove to his residence on Charlie Chan Drive to sell Christopher marijuana. Christopher then went on to provide a version of events that were inconsistent with evidence collected at the scene and from the victim's recovered vehicle. Christopher claimed the male victim pointed a weapon at him, and Christopher was able to manipulate the weapon, resulting in the female being shot. Christopher then stated that had the weapon pointed at him again, and he manipulated the weapon again, resulting in the male victim being shot. That's not exactly what happened, is it? Christopher's statement is inconsistent with the gunshot wounds suffered by Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto and the evidence located at the crime scene. Christopher Preciado intentionally discharged a firearm at Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra with the intention of causing their death. The actions of Christopher resulted in the death of Matthew Guerra, Savanah Soto, and Savanah Soto's unborn child named Fabian. Your affiant has reason to believe, and does believe, that said defendant, Christopher Ray Preciado, on or about the 21st of December 2023 in Bexar County, Texas, intentionally caused the death of multiple persons. Therefore, your affiant respectfully requests that a warrant be issued for the arrest of defendant Christopher Ray Preciado, charging him with the felony criminal offense of capital murder, multiple persons. I don't know. Dee and I was thinking that as I'm reading it, they should be able to tell whose weapon that was, right? And look at fingerprints. So, if there weren't a lot of fingerprints from grabbing at the barrel or whatever, and whose fingerprints are on the trigger, right? I mean, and how you're holding it. Yeah, I'm sure a lot more will come out. But we already know a contact gunshot wound to the back of the head makes you wonder what the deal is. How did he manage that? Unless somebody was helping him, holding this guy. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm from Baltimore, and homicides over drugs happen. Hi, the Jab. Welcome. Yeah, I know it. I know that's horrible. Yeah, Baltimore is kind of a dangerous place, isn't it? From what I've read. Well, and he'd been shot at before, so he definitely knew. And he knew what he was dragging her into. I still can't fathom what he was thinking as they're on their way to the hospital, that he would have to stop and do a drug deal. And how much was this guy buying anyway? Did he need the money right then? I don't know. Okay, so here's his warrant of arrest for Christopher Ray Preciado. I didn't see one for his dad, but anyway. To any peace officer of any court within the state of Texas, you are hereby commanded to take the body of Christopher Ray Preciado, last known address 5735 Charlie Chan Drive, San Antonio, Texas. Hispanic male. Date of birth September 7th, 2004. If the individual be found in your county and the individual safely keep so that you will have the individual before the magistrate court, Bexar County, Texas, to hold forthwith to answer to the state of Texas, wherein the individual is charged with the criminal offense of capital murder, multiple persons. San Antonio Police Department. Herein fail not, but have you this writ before said court with your return thereon, showing how you have executed the same. And the warrant of arrest, then the return of that is not filled out yet. Not this year yet. Did you? Don't you mean last year? Please tell me you meant last year. Please tell me you meant last year. Yeah. I guess I can't wait to find out more. But I haven't seen too many wild rumors and accusations. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel better. Okay, so here I have the picture of her, 9.5 months pregnant, with him with 2 guns, one in each hand, and she's taking a picture. I don't know if some of these pictures were gang signs, because I don't know what the hell a gang sign is. I'm sorry. And I don't know, like, the different kinds of guns. I don't know anything about guns. Pistols, revolvers, I could tell, like, if it was a black gun or a gray gun or a long gun or a short gun. That's about all I know. I don't know. It said they were headed to an appointment to be induced. I just think it's odd that the appointment would be at midnight. And she did not show up for the appointment. I don't know. So here he's got scads of money, and she's taking pictures of it every time. Looks like they pay in $1 bills. And he's got that girl in a big, thick gold necklace. I think the mom knows where her son is, and then she's trying to blame it on what he does for money. I truly believe he did something to her. So this is obviously earlier, and it's someone that thinks it was a murder-suicide. No, Bob, actually, I don't. I don't. No, I don't know the difference between a rifle and a shotgun. They're both long, right? And they take different ammo? Yes, she was overdue by a week. So that's why they were going to induce. Thank you, Annabelle. That's so stupid. When I read these, about these crimes, and then they ask the witness, and they're like, oh, yeah, it was a such and such, 357, whatever, Turner Arms. It's like, how the hell would you know that? I'm glad you can find some humor in this, Whitewater Baby. Hustlers used to, yeah. No, I think that's true. And we're going to go into that next. I don't know if you guys are going to hang around for what else I got to talk about here. Couple things. School shootings. Midnight would be the start of the day, previously scheduled by the doctor. See, okay. Okay. Then that makes sense. What cracked you up? That I don't know the difference between a rifle and a shotgun? I mean, a shotgun takes a shell, right? And the rifle takes like a bullet? Yeah. That's right? You guys quit making fun of me. And I used to deliver to a gun store. Man, he had a lot of guns in there. Oh, I mean, a lot of guns. And he had a whole storage building full of ammo. Yeah, I really loved on ammo day when I would deliver all that. Those boxes are heavier than shit. You get a ton of them. Okay, good. I don't want you to be shot. No, me either. Actually, I think I'd rather be stabbed because people that have been stabbed say it feels like they were punched. Nobody actually thinks they're stabbed until later, so I could take a punch. A bullet? Nah. Gang signs are posing and twisting of their fingers to resemble the first letters of the gang name or the area. Really? Well, there you go. Learn something new every day. I didn't know that. Now, if you could just tell me the difference between a rifle and a shotgun. I'm going to have to study guns. Okay, so there is a school shooting today. Where was that, Bob? All bullets have cartridges, shell casing. Oh, well, there you go. I don't know. Hi, birdies. Welcome. Melissa, I don't know. It's supposed to be at 6:30. Look at you guys right up on Perry, Iowa. Okay, everybody. And he did commit suicide. Shotgun is buckshot. Okay. Rifles use jacketed bullets. But the buckshot is all in a little container, correct? Don't be laughing at me. Because it's not like a muzzle loader where you just put it right in the gun. Well, anyway. Oh, no. I don't know that much about Tupac. A W is a gang sign. I'm going to have to practice these gang signs. I know I read that the Crips and the Bloods aren't very active, that it's a different gang now that's more violent, that is kind of taken over. Oh, you're kidding, Bob. No way. Are you kidding? I pretty much say whatever I want on here, and I've never had anything deleted. Huh. Well, as long as you didn't use the word liar in your response, because that's the only word I have blocked. That's very odd. Nobody deleted Bob's comment, did they? They better not have. Rifles shoot farther. Oh, I know. I saw the first guy to shoot 2 miles. Wasn't it 2 miles? Boy, those snipers are pretty accurate. I also saw a really cool guy that didn't have a bus. Was it a semi? Maybe it was a bus. Semi. It was a semi, and they were chasing it for like miles, and he was hitting cars and knocking them off the road and things. And they had a sniper stand in front of him and wait for him to come and shot a whole bunch of bullets in there, and it didn't slow him down any. So they used some big, huge, like, armored artillery shell. Said it was the first time it ever been used outside of combat in the United States. I thought that was pretty cool. That did it. That stopped him. Well, stopped the truck. And, they didn't even rough the guy up. They probably were pretty excited to get to shoot that big thing off. Shotgun is usually a single shot. A rifle, you got semi-automatic, automatic. Look at how informative this is. You know what? I'm going to put me doing some gang signs on my community page. I'm going to practice these. You take your middle finger and your ring finger, cross them. Really? Is that really it? Pinky promise, leaving your pinky and pointer. What? I don't think my fingers will do that. Oh my god. What is my phone doing? Oh no, I accidentally signed into Discord. I didn't want to do that. Don't do that. That's a no-no? Really? Well, if they knew me, they'd know that I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to do a gang sign. I don't think my fingers do that. There's some kind of Star Trek thing too, and I can't do that either. Okay. Hey, Bob, did you have a good New Year's? Everybody loves Bob. Bob, you're such a lovable guy. Hey, Lisa A. Oh. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh my god, I don't want anybody to come after me. Oh heavens, to the corporate mafia. That's hilarious. You guys are always so funny. I love that. Cornbread muffin hanging out of their mouth. And corncob pipe on the other side. They're big into corn down there, apparently. Bob had a good New Year's, everybody. I didn't. I was sick. Been sick for a while. Excuse me. You guys know I have a problem breathing. Okay, so here, we're going to talk about the school shooters. I thought this was interesting. Most school shootings aren't mass killings, study finds, and they're often driven by community violence. Many Americans think of school shootings as mass casualty events involving an adolescent with an assault-style weapon, whatever that is. But a new study said that the most recent school shootings orchestrated by teenagers do not fit that image. And they are often related to community violence, corn liquor. Now, emergency room visits for firearm injuries among children doubled during the pandemic. This study was published in the Journal of Pediatrics, analyzed 253 school shootings carried out by 262 adolescents in the U.S. between 1990 and 2016. It found that these adolescents were responsible for only a handful of mass casualty shootings, defined as those involving 4 or more gunshot fatalities. Half the shootings involved at least one death. Among the events, 7 killed 4 or more people. A majority of the shootings analyzed also involved handguns rather than assault rifles or shotguns. Now, according to, if you listen to the media, they think everything is an assault rifle, right? Everything is an automatic weapon. Shadow puppets. I could probably figure that out. Shadow puppets. Okay, I'll practice that. I could use my new fancy light to, yeah. Okay. You guys will know what that is when I post it. No one else will. Okay, or shotguns. And they were often the result of interpersonal disputes. When you look at gun violence across the country, a big subset of that is suicide and community violence, which is largely committed by the use of handguns, not assault rifles. Here's what I thought was the interesting was an overwhelming majority of the 262 adolescent shooters were male. I do know that's that one girl that shot from her window into the school because she didn't like Mondays. I can't remember her name, but yes, exactly. And that's my point. If you listen to the media, yeah, everything. And here, this is an actual study. And it's more to warn people. It's trying to tell the truth about. This is from CNN, an article from CNN. Oh, no, I didn't. I haven't read anything about that yet. So somebody sent me a picture. So, okay, the overwhelming majority of the 262 adolescent shooters were male. With an average age of 16, but unlike many of the school shootings that make headlines, nearly 60% of the shooters in the study were black. You never hear of a black school shooter. Why is that? Why is that? You'd think the media would go crazy over that, wouldn't you? Anything racist they love. 28% were white, 8% were Latino, another 5.7% represented other racial or ethnic groups. More than half the shooters was female but identified as male. Oh, I remember that. More on that later. More than half of the shooters got the firearm they used from a family member or relative. Okay, now think about this. So they didn't actually go out and buy a firearm. And that's another thing that the media doesn't tell us. More than half of the shooters got the firearm they used from a family member or relative. About 30% got a weapon from the illegal market, while 22% obtained weapons from friends or acquaintances. So 70% of them got a gun from someone else, a family member or friend. So this isn't about gun registration at all. I just thought this was kind of interesting. Parents need to be responsible for the storage of those weapons, I agree, because they can often be used for shooting and for other types of violence. We know that from prior studies. The researchers also looked at economic backgrounds. 20% of these adolescents lived below the poverty line. 12% of the households were headed by women. So I wouldn't exactly say that that means a single parent household causes this. 26% of residents of these households did not have high school diplomas, and 10% were unemployed. Investing in community violence intervention programs can help reduce this kind of violence in schools. And that's exactly what I said for a long time. Community violence intervention. Anger. We need anger management classes. I mean, these kids, they don't know what to do with their anger or frustration, how to let it out until they blow. Oh my goodness. And here I am still not knowing what kind of a gun. I used to clean house for my grandfather when he was alive and I was a kid. He had a gun on the top shelf of one of the closets. I would not go near that shelf, or I didn't want to be anywhere near that gun. No, that's true. It doesn't have to be a big gun safe either, right? It can just be a box that you lock it up in, if I understand it correctly. It really seems like parents could stop a lot of this, right? If you see your kid having problems, maybe get him some help and lock up your guns. There we go. Oh, I remember that. I thought that was in my state, but maybe not. I remember that. Prismo. Policies that build up infrastructure in at-risk communities to stop the cycle of violence. Those include things like green spaces, parks, employment opportunities, food security, other social determinants of health, economic mobility. Those are the kinds of things that get at-risk youth out of the cycle of violence, in addition to that community violence. Yes. Thank you, Prismo, for posting that. They also said there is a need for standardized national reporting system, as many Americans depend on media sources to learn about school shootings. You can't really depend on media sources for anything these days, can you? I guess you have to know which ones are. I think Reuters is very reliable. You have to know which ones, I guess. One of the ones in the UK, was it The Guardian? They had a mistake during the Cash Gernon shooting. They posted something or printed something that wasn't accurate. And you know me, Miss Fact Checker. I wrote him a letter, an email, and I said, this isn't correct. Your writer is just parroting what he's read in other newspapers. And I said, I consider you to be an ethical newspaper with high standards. And he wrote me back. He said I was right. They checked into it. I was correct, and they would correct it in a future issue. There you go. So don't screw with me. Yes. Unfortunately. Chicago. Yeah, I think so. They always will have drugs, won't they? That's a way to escape, in their mind, anyway. Yeah, that is right by me. Actually, I thought it was. In our house growing up, there were many guns at reach and plenty of ammunition. Really? My dad had guns in a closet in the back of the pantry hanging on the wall. Don't ask me what kind of guns. They were long guns. There you go. I don't remember seeing a lot of ammunition around, though. My dad was not a hunter. So I guess that's why we weren't trained in guns. Sathya says there also needs to be more research into gun violence. There's been such a paucity of research in this space that often research studies like this add a lot to the field. I think it's really interesting. Adding the only way to address an issue like gun violence is to figure out what drives it. This is a public health issue, not a political one. It's not really about gun ownership. It's about ways to make our environment safer and guns safer. That's the goal. I 100% agree with that. It shouldn't be turned into a political issue. Nobody seems to want to address the root cause of this, is what frustrates me. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that they were taught to handle guns as kids and gun safety. Then you'd know not to touch it, right? Oh, yes. Oh, here I'm looking at it. A 17-year-old gunman killed his sixth grader and wounded 5 people. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about here. Anybody want to say anything more about school shootings or guns? Or gang signs? Wait, Widow Baby, I see you sent me something. If I go look at it, I'll kick myself off, probably. Family of girl who went missing from Dallas Mavs game says DA's office handled the case poorly. Does anybody remember this case? The family is seeking answers about why the man accused of luring her from the stadium was cleared by a grand jury. Now, this is just a recent article. Although this happened in 2022, the family of a teen girl who disappeared from a Dallas Mavericks game in 2022 was forced into prostitution, is seeking answers about how the man accused of luring her from the stadium was absolved of wrongdoing. Now, they don't name her, but I remember this. I remember when she disappeared. That was a really big deal because she didn't know anyone around there. They knew she didn't run away. 2022, no scam zone. No, I know. I'm not either. I don't think my fingers go that way. I'll have to practice. Hey, Miss Chewy. Yes. Their lawyer, Zeke Fortenberry, said Dallas County prosecutors missed crucial steps like reviewing the girl's therapy notes for outcries of abuse and requesting a forensic interview, one of the first stages of a child abuse investigation, before presenting the case to a grand jury. Cartagena, 34, initially faced a charge of sexual assault of a child in connection with the girl's disappearance, April 8th, 2022, from the American Airlines Center. At the time of the arrest in January, Dallas police alleged Cartagena met the then 15-year-old girl outside the stadium, took her to an unknown house in Dallas, and assaulted her. The grand jury declined to indict Cartagena on October 30th, a spokesman for the DA's office confirmed. How the hell could they? The DA's office now considers the criminal case closed, according to emails between Fortenberry and a prosecutor, and a crushing end to the saga for the family. Fortenberry is dismayed. Dallas County prosecutors, I'm surprised too, because Texas is pretty strict on this, did not consider a more severe charge of human trafficking and believes a more thorough investigation would have resulted in the harsher first-degree felony. Sexual assault of a child is a second-degree felony and carries a punishment of up to 20 years in prison. while human trafficking carries up to a life sentence. Under Texas law, a child 17 or younger cannot consent to sex. The prosecution, Fortenberry said, presented a half-assed case. Even after there was all this media, there was a lot of media, no one cared. Excuse me. It's been this terrible series of police work and prosecution work. Okay, what am I missing? Oh, I agree. Absolutely. There's a lot of knife attacks over in England, and also in Canada. Toronto had a lot of them last year. So I agree. And just as many people there was an unbelievable amount of people stabbed in an attack in the UK not too long ago. Yes. Okay. District Attorney said in an emailed statement his office reviewed evidence shown to the grand jury, and we are confident that any possible criminal offenses were presented. Per policy enacted in January 2022, prosecutors do not make recommendations to grand juries about whether to indict. Well, that's something new. I've never heard of that before. January 2022. What's the prosecutor there for? That's interesting. The girl went to the bathroom during the Mavericks game and never returned, prompting her father to report her missing to Dallas police and American Airlines Center officials. Illicit photos of the girl and advertisements for sex later appeared online, and she was found 10 days later, April 18, 2022, at an Oklahoma City hotel where she was being held. The news is not naming the teen, now 17, because she's a juvenile and the victim of a sex crime. How can that not be trafficking? I remember that they found her photo online. Somebody took her to Oklahoma, right? Oh, just recently? Or then? Just right now? A 15-year-old girl with no phone, wallet, ID, or card doesn't end up in Oklahoma unless she's trafficked. That just seems like a given, doesn't it? What am I missing? And the first domino of that event, or first several dominoes, occurred in Dallas. Yes. Well, in Dallas. No one is indicted in Dallas, Bertie. Oh, then. Oh, that's interesting. Did he have any information? Okay, yeah. Just a minute, Bertie. That's okay, Prismo. You can catch up. Okay, let me read that again. A 15-year-old girl with no phone, wallet, ID, or car doesn't end up in Oklahoma unless she's trafficked. And the first domino of that event, or first several dominoes, occurred in Dallas. I agree with that. At least 2 people arrested in Oklahoma pled guilty to trafficking and child pornography charges in connection with the girl's disappearance. So, 2 people in Oklahoma pled guilty to trafficking. No one in Dallas has been convicted. Well, she got to Oklahoma somehow. Fortenberry worries the grand jury here dismissed the case as a teen who had a willing sexual encounter with a 33-year-old. She's 15. She's 15. You can't have a willing sexual encounter with a 33-year-old when you're 15. And I just read that, 17 was the age of consent, right? Here in Texas, negating the law, the girl's vulnerabilities, possible manipulation, and inherent power imbalance. He speculates that if prosecutors had done more due diligence, the outcome could have been different. Their age of consent, no, it's 17. That was earlier in the article here. It can be a hurdle for lawyers, especially those unfamiliar with trafficking or abuse cases, to explain the dynamics of child sexual abuse to jurors, like how a 15-year-old can be compliant in a sexual act, but it still be a crime. Well, it doesn't matter. She's 15, even if she is compliant, right? With a 33-year-old? How can that not be a crime? A special prosecutor and CEO of the Institute to Combat Trafficking said the DA's office may have opted to pursue the lesser offense if they didn't feel the evidence supported a trafficking charge. I would say kidnapping at the very least. Yes, and if I go back up, I'll lose my place. But I believe it said Texas was 17. Yes. Fortenberry said the teen had made several outcries to psychiatrists and psychologists about being assaulted and prostituted in Dallas, and the lawyer offered to provide the prosecutor on the case with the girl's medical records and therapy notes. And this was a woman prosecutor, but she declined. Fortenberry said that evidence warranted a charge of human trafficking. I have to agree. He alleges Almazi met with the girl once for an introductory meeting. This is the prosecutor, Summer Almazi. Yes. I don't know how you could call it anything else but trafficking. For crying out loud, they took her out of state. And never requested the girl undergo a forensic interview. A forensic interview is a specialized investigative technique designed to gather information in a neutral, non-leading, and age-appropriate way. According to a December organization chart on the district attorney's website, Almazi is the chief prosecutor of the Crimes Against Children unit. Exactly. I remember that. Well, I mean, I don't remember that. I think that was before my time, Bob, but people got away with a lot of stuff back then. I'm surprised he got arrested. She's the chief prosecutor of the Crimes Against Children's unit. Okay, what am I missing there? What the hell? A spokeswoman for the DA's office repeatedly declined, I bet she did, the news's request to speak with Almazi about the case. Nor did the spokeswoman answer questions about whether a forensic interview was requested. You gotta love these newspaper reporters that dig into this stuff, don't you? Exactly. I can't imagine how traumatic that would have been. Thought everyone was good and people had to make her watch cases of, and still girls, in a lot of these cases, they meet these guys on social media, and a lot of times their parents know they're talking to someone much older. Remember one girl that went out, got in a car, and it drove away. She had the car and the license plate and everything. She said, her daughter had been talking to him for a long time. It was an older male, much older. Why would you not put a stop to that? I don't know. Exactly. Hopefully people will remember this. Don Guidry, Cartagena's attorney, so Cartagena is the guy that took her, previously told the news the case relied heavily on surveillance video and insufficient evidence to prove he assaulted her. I am truly sorry for what the teen endured, but at the end of the day, her family pushed and pushed until they got what they wanted, and the grand jury saw it differently when all the facts came out. The investigation of her disappearance was marred from the get-go, Fortenberry said. He has previously said Dallas police ignored signs she was abducted and treated her as a runaway. I remember that. They did, punting the case to North Richland Hills, where she lives. The teen had run away from home once before. I remember they did try to say she was a runaway. Dallas police began an investigation in August of last year, 4 months after the girl went missing. It would be another 5 months before Cartagena's arrest, and an additional 10 months before the grand jury handed down its no bill. Sex trafficking is perpetrated by criminal networks of recruiters, traffickers, facilitators, and buyers. Law enforcement and prosecution are the most effective when we develop broad cases that target the entire network rather than focusing on the acts of a single participant. I think that's kind of what they're doing nowadays, is busting up the whole ring instead of just a single case, right? I think it's 16 here, but I'm not positive about that. So I don't know. Yeah, this seems like a terrible miscarriage of justice. I would definitely, I don't think the girl, why would she put herself through that? Oh, I know a lot of people have that family and friends app or whatever. Is that just on an iPhone? Oh, I have that on Facebook. Because when I drove, I could see when my friends were near me, we'd wave at each other when it would ping on there. I should do that for my dad, just so I know where the heck he is. 15? No kidding. Oh, I just don't. Even if this girl ran away from the stadium, she's still trafficked, right? Because they put her picture on the internet and put out advertisements and took her out of state. I don't see how it's not trafficking. I don't know. Does it seem like there's more? They didn't used to call it trafficking. I guess that's the buzzword now. Or did they didn't focus on the psychology of prostitution, sex workers, I guess. You're told that these people, sex workers, are forced into this, or do it for drugs. Like the people that traffic them, get them hooked on drugs, and then they're more compliant and have to do that. But have you ever read Anne Rule's The Green River Killer book? I think her parents were there. The jab. I think her dad was. I'd have to go back and look at the case again. But she was there at a game, and I thought she was with her dad. at least. She went to the bathroom and then disappeared. So when I read Ann Rule's The Green River Killer, it talks about each of his victims, and most of them were prostitutes, not all. But they weren't girls that were forced into prostitution by circumstance. They chose it. And that just really surprised me. I mean, all of them had family and friends that cared about them, that tried to get them to stop, that didn't feel it was safe. I know one of them seemed like her mother was murdered. She was a gorgeous girl. She looked like Marilyn Monroe. And she was killed, and now her daughter's a prostitute. I don't know. It was just puzzling to me because, you know, you hear that nobody does that voluntarily, but yet these girls did. They wanted the money. And I just thought that was odd. Okay, so that's all I have to talk about tonight. I lived there when the Green River Killer. Oh, yes. I know Ann Rule collected information on that for a long time and held it. You know, and she went through each of the victims and told their whole story, their whole history, their family story, and everything. It was really a really engrossing book. I've been meaning to read it yet again because every story was so different, but it was just interesting how they all had people that tried to help them. You know, friends, parents, boyfriends. I don't know. Tried to help him get out of it. One of them was, I think, supporting her whole family with that. And they drove her to her dates. I follow a lady on X. Oh my goodness. I couldn't do that. But what's the name of that girl in Boston that the professor killed? Oh God, I can see her. Nadine something. Yeah, she did it because she loved the money. She did it for the money. And then you get one guy that, you know, bankrupts himself, paying her, thinking she's in love with him, and gets obsessed with her and ends up killing her, which is what happened to her. Wallace, Idaho. Okay. Good night, sweet Dee. He passed a lie detector test. Are you saying the Green River Killer? He didn't seem all that intelligent. He was slow. Everybody said that. Yeah, I just don't. I could never do that. Even if I was starving, I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. I don't know. Yeah, Gary Ridgway, right. She's anonymous, but, you know, some say they're going to just do it to pay their way through school, but then the money's so good, they can't quit. Med school's expensive. I don't know. I just think it's pretty dangerous. Yeah, Gary Ridgway. That was an interesting book. And how he got away with it for so long. And then when he was married there, he had a period of stability where he didn't kill for years in between there. I don't know, scary business. Okay, that's all I got to talk about tonight. Thanks everybody for being here. I always appreciate chatting with you guys. Love all of you. Thanks my mods. Who don't have a lot to do because I don't have any trolls in here usually. Gary Ridgway? No. Where was he? Wasn't Louisiana. Thanks, hon. Appreciate it. Is that where, you two Rakes? You two Annabelle? Birdies? You guys are all awesome. Yes, pray for health in the new year. I'm working on it. Okay, we'll see you guys all here. Yeah, have a great weekend, and we'll see you all here next week. Thanks. Talk to you later.